Welcome back to Nuclear News. We're staying on top of what is going on in the nuclear energy sector and what that means for its underlying scarce above ground supply of uranium fuel. First up, SPRI uranium miners ETF price action year to date. Chart is making higher lows, not allowing people a chance to get in, outperforming the S&P 500, which is only up 21%, right? So the market seems to be buoyed due to some positive macroeconomic developments, such as lowering yields. And so the higher quality assets like uranium, like nuclear energy, is starting to outperform. So let's see, what does the future of the space look like? And what does it mean for uranium miners? Well, this comes from UXC via the International Atomic Energy Agency. This is a Q3 update. We are seeing the uranium supply gap, uranium production and demand imbalance. In green, we see the demand looking forward, right? Massive. And then we see the production in blue, massively underperforming the demand. And there's no projection to fill that demand for the next 20 years, right? And so when you're looking at commodities, obviously, the bigger the supply demand gap, the higher the prices go. That's why we're seeing the uranium spot price skyrocket. So again, forward looking, what is next for this space? Well, Russian uranium import ban teed up for U.S. House floor vote. Support for ban has been building since the Ukraine invasion. Halt of imports seen increasing nuclear fuel costs by 13%, right? So the House is going to vote on halting uranium inflows from Russia. That's obviously going to make the supply in the West much scarcer because we have a Q3 2023 update for domestic uranium production. Seems like the US only produced 27,000 pounds of uranium in 2023 in the third quarter. So take a look at the projection for 2023, practically zero compared to the past, right? So there's a massive scarcity of this fuel. Even though we've been working on this for a long time now, all of 2023, they still can't get their act together enough to produce fuel in the United States. But they're going to do everything they can, right? Moments ago on Canada's BNB Bloomberg, they reported that a major boost to U.S. domestic uranium is included in the latest defense spending bill that will force nuclear utilities to buy domestically mined uranium instead of Russian uranium, putting upward pressure on uranium prices. So U.S. miners are going to have to get paid, right? They're going to have to get paid an absolute fortune to kickstart this production, right? And the US is going to put as much money as they need to make this happen, right? So there's a wall of capital flowing into the space, and it seems like there's a new gold rush for this scarce resource. At the same time, the yellow cake's uranium holdings value rose as higher demand lifts spot prices. Yellow Cake, which is a Wall Street firm which buys up scarce physical uranium from the open market, so the value of its uranium holdings rose in the first 6 months of fiscal 2024 due to higher spot prices and an increase in physical holdings. Yellow Cake increased its physical uranium holdings in this period to 20.2 million pounds from 18.81 million pounds. So they're just scooping up this already tight supply of uranium. They're just making it scarcer and scarcer. And so that speaks to the unbelievably tight market that we are in, the scarce uranium supply just getting scarcer, and there's no end in sight to that until the US can really just start paying miners massively to get it out of the ground, right? So obviously incredibly positive for the miners that have a claim on this scarce resource within their mines. US, Canada, France, Japan, and UK back global nuclear supply chain. Planned investments will improve uranium enrichment and conversion capacity up to 2027 and establish a secure and resilient global uranium market. Guess how much money they're going to put toward this? The US, Canada, France, Japan, and UK have agreed to mobilize government-led investments totaling $4.2 billion to develop a global nuclear supply chain. That's how much money is going to go into this space. And obviously, again, the miners will benefit. So that's the supply. But let's see what new developments we have just this week for the future projected demand of uranium fuel. Pritzker signs law lifting a moratorium on nuclear reactors. New nuclear reactors will be allowed in Illinois in 2026 after the governor signed a law lifting a 35-year moratorium. Again, that wasn't built into any future demand models. And so demand going up. UK government awards Holtec 30 million pounds to complete design assessment for SMRs. So a wall of money moving into brand new SMR technology. Hundreds if not thousands of these, are just going to populate the future, right? We're in the early stages of the deployment of SMR technology, and that is, of course, going to exponentially increase the demand of uranium. U.S. Department of Energy announced $7 million to enhance university nuclear programs. Again, the U.S. Department of Energy putting its money behind this space, the biggest, most powerful whales on the planet putting money behind this. Italy allocates 135 million euros for modular nuclear research. Leading conservative opposition figures call for Germany's return to nuclear energy. So the Conservative Party has taken back power in Germany. Again, massive U-turn for this huge country, increasing the demand. Canada vows to triple nuclear power production by 2050. EU members seek to add nuclear e-fuels to clean tech goals. EU governments agreed on Thursday that nuclear and sustainable fuels should be added to a list of strategic net zero technologies that the European Union should promote so its industry can compete with Chinese and US competitors. KHNP touts ISMR to international audience. Korea Hydro and Nuclear Power has used the 28th United Nations Climate Change Conference in Dubai to launch its new innovative SMR technology and its ISMR-powered smart net zero city model. The company has agreed to cooperate with Indonesian and Jordanian partners to investigate the deployment of these units. Again, as investors look into the future, what does it look like? The mass proliferation of nuclear power running everything. And it's not just on the planet Earth, right? Moon-based microreactor concept unveiled by Rolls-Royce. The results of a UK space agency backed research program have been unveiled by Rolls-Royce, with the company saying it aims to have a microreactor ready to send to the moon by the early 2030s. This is just how massively bullish the space is for nuclear technology and, yes, for the demand of uranium, while the supply continues to get scarcer and scarcer. Again, going back to this chart, for some reason, no one is able to project an increasing supply, right? And that's probably because they understand how scarce this is going into the future. And so it really doesn't get better than this. We're just going to have to stay on top of what is going on in this space.